Okay, the final scene, Act 2, Scene 8. Long, long, long scene. Dinner has finally ended, and Jim and Tom and Amanda are all around the table when the lights go out because uh, Tom, aka Shakespeare, the poet, he didn't pay he didn't pay the bill for the lights. Instead, he bought some sort of or he joined some sort of membership of Mariners or something. But so the lights went out and they had to light candles and everything. So I mean, it was kind of a nice mood, nice going there. Tennessee Williams, you know how to make the mood. And then Amanda and Tom went into the kitchen to clean up, and Amanda sent Jim to go and talk to Laura. And at first she was really, she was just like, this guy is talking to me, and I loved him before, blah, blah, blah. And it's like she's about to explode on herself just because of how, like, freaked out she is at this semi-stranger. And she's just like, oh, what am I gonna do? But then, he's just genial as can be, and he makes her sit on the floor, and they talk for a while, and he realizes that he used to know her, and oh, blue roses, yeah, oh wow, blah blah blah, and he, I feel like Tennessee Williams just uses Jim to say everything to Laura that everyone watching and reading, wants to say to her, he says, I think you have some problems with, anxiety, and you don't believe in yourself. And he gives you so much hope because he's like, if you were my sister, I would build you up. And then he said, someone needs to kiss you. And he kissed her, and they were dancing, and he was thrown all around and stuff. And it was just very romantic, very romantic. And he says, oh, I should be doing this because he's engaged to this girl named Betty, which I was like, knew that was going to happen. Because at first you were thinking, oh no, he's not getting engaged. Because when Laura mentions that girl that he was engaged to prior, he said, oh no, I don't care about her anymore, I don't need her. But he is to Betty. So it's like, you think something good's going to happen, and then it doesn't. But I think maybe there's hope. Because Jim told Laura that she was pretty, told her that she was interesting. He said, you're individual and everyone's different. And I'm sure you have something important about you, something that you're good at that no one else is good at. And he told her that she was good things, but maybe she thinks her only good things is the menagerie, and she won't move on past that. But needless to say, um, Jim leaves. He has to go. Amanda is so angry at Tom, says, how could you bring this guy in here who's engaged to be married, and didn't you know that, and you were just playing a horrible trick on all of us, why would you do that? And Tom says, how was I supposed to know? And to his benefit, Jim was a really nice guy, and Laura and him had a very good connection. It wasn't supposed to happen. So Amanda gets angry, blaming everything again on him, and says, just leave, just go ahead. And I think it was very interesting that she says, to Tom, Amanda says to Tom, you live in a dream, you manufacture illusions. Which Amanda is the one who's living, in her southern hospitality of when she was young and pretty, and everyone was calling on her, and she's always talking about, the wonder years of her. She doesn't live in the present. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't understand her situation, and she doesn't do anything to change it. As far as finding some work or doing something positive instead of worrying all the time and going to meetings to make herself feel important. So I just thought, pot calling the kettle black in that point at that point. But after Amanda's big blow up, Tom leaves. And he doesn't just, he talks about it in his final little monologue here, he doesn't just leave the house to go to the movies. He leaves and he just starts wandering as the father had. And isn't that terrible, the circle of it all? But, I guess the father couldn't handle Amanda, and neither could he. But Tom always missed Laura. Laura was one of the only things keeping him there. But I feel like, lost a brother, had this idea that she could be in love, and then that was dashed away from her. So I just feel like Laura was probably just more pulled in on herself. I love the moment whenever Jim and Laura are dancing, and then the unicorn breaks. The unicorn, which was her favorite, and she says, "No, no, it doesn't matter." And for a moment, you think, "Oh, she cares more about him. She cares more about Jim than the Menagerie." And oh, isn't that a good thing? You're excited. And then she lets him take the newly dehorned uh, piece of glass with him. So that just kind of shows that she does care about him, and it's sad that he has to go. But I still feel very sorry for Laura. I mean, she doesn't really protest about it. You can tell that she's not completely comfortable with Amanda because she has to lie to her. But then she's just going to stay with her, and she's going to stay, and Amanda's going to keep, wanting her to get married and being upset all the time. And it's very sad because, I mean, no one gets to move on. Tom does, sort of, but he isn't establishing himself. He's just running. He never finds what he wants to be. He never reaches success. He just keeps on moving, rolling through, transient. So, I feel very sorry for all of them at the very end of the scene, and at the very end of the play. Wow. And all the mentions of the glass and how their glass, and especially Laura, and you can dress it up, you can shine different lights through it, but glass is just glass, and it's still very fragile, and it's still very easily broken. And you can love glass all you want, but it's, no matter how much you love something, it can still be broken. Mm. I liked all the symbols in it. I liked almost everything about it, except for it made me so angry and sad all the time. I was just angry at Amanda, because I don't know if I mean, she was charming. She had charm. She was gay, but she was never a person. She was never herself, or she just didn't have a self because she was always worried about other people. So Amanda didn't have a self, always in other people's business. Laura, fragile glass, beautiful but easily broken. Tom, I liked him. I did, because he he went for something at least, but he turned into his father. He was stubborn, and he's destined to live a life of sadness as he runs away from his past. Okay, that is my wrap up. That is my idea of everything that happened.